searching for a longer day. People feeling like
up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Rustoria Base Invaders. Today we have EU3v3s. My name is Llama77. Today, joined in the cast booth by the one and only Ped. How are you doing today?
I'm doing absolutely excellent, my friend. It's the first Rustoria cast of the new year. Happy New Year, everybody! It's going to be a good one. 3v3 is always interesting, and we're right here now in the attack phase. Hopefully, going to see a bit more PvP. There has been a slight bit of restriction on people being able to extend their bases after the build phase, so it should be interesting as well because it is a small man's event. And usually, what we see in 3v3s is we always seem to see players who build their base in the attack phase because they haven't been able to finish it in the first 30 minutes because they've been going out and collecting resources. But hopefully today, for some teams, that has changed. But we have got a lot of strong teams competing today, so it should make a great event.
Yeah, I got a lot of strong teams here today. Like you said, that new rule change, you cannot build outside of that grace phase. Now, obviously, there you can repair if a wall breaks, if a roof breaks down, you can definitely repair that on up. But make sure you're not turtling on up. Make sure you're getting that fully built on in the grace phase. A couple other rule changes that are coming at you. We do have a new teleporter feature that will teleport you to a random location on the map as an escape tool if you're maybe being chased by some teams. And then I don't believe it's going to be in the EU event today, but it might be in the North America event. We might see it, maybe not. It is the hard point that you'll get points every so often for kind of staying in.
Yeah, and the important thing to note, it is beta testing, but I think it is a great movement for some of these players. It also offers an alternative in terms of grabbing points, which I think is the good thing about keeping the community alive in base invaders, making it more enjoyable for the players. But some solid bases here. We have Mango just sat on the roof. Quite a small base. I think that's what we're going to see today. A lot of the smaller bases, no big ones. But that base, very, very nicely built. It is very, very symmetrical, which makes me happy. And they haven't really, obviously, there's bases all around them, but they've pretty much put themselves a bit isolated. There's a rock in the way there. So it's going to be interesting because what I always tend to see is in these events, people like cluster up in clusters of 7 teams. So what happens is you end up having a 7-way fight, and eventually one man will win. One team will be the grinders. But in 3-mans, it is not the case sometimes. Only 3 players to take out, only 3 players to defend. You've got to tactic it out, and I think that's the problem with a couple of teams. They go gung ho and then they get raided, and their team. I don't know. They might be top of the leaderboard, but now they're out. So it'll be interesting to see how people approach that today.
Yeah, 2 different chess matches we can kind of talk about. I know you mentioned the hard point is going to add new and exciting chess type action towards the Rust defense, where you could go out and raid, you could go out and take this hard point. There are multiple ways you could win. And also talking about, like you said today, the 3-mans, you do not really have the resources to really split up your players. I mean, maybe you can leave one player back, but you really have to send all 3 players out to wherever you're going, and you maybe can't split it up like maybe a 6-mans or a 7-mans could have.
Yeah, of course. And I think we've definitely seen it in the past, and I'm pretty sure we'll see it today when people do be reluctant and go for a raid, and then they get raided by the team that is raiding them, that is getting raided by them. So it's just cheeky little things like that cause some problems for certain teams. But this team over here don't seem to have a compound. Pretty messy base, not really much going on for them. So this team looks like one of the fresh meat teams that somebody will eventually take advantage of. Very, very messy base, unfortunately for them, and I don't even think they're allowed to do much about it.
Yeah, I don't think so. I believe they'll be able to upgrade those walls, but pretty much that is it. Maybe build an outer compound wall, but like you said, I don't know if this is going to be a base that lasts very long once that attack phase does expire. I believe that first patrol helicopter was taken down, and that will bring us kind of to a reminder of how you kind of earn points here in this event today. Obviously, there is PvP points, so 1 point for each of those kills you'll get onto an enemy player. Obviously, that player has to be walking around with some sort of kit. They can't just be walking around naked, and you get a point for that. Now, obviously, if you take a base, that's going to be 40 points taking that TC, and if you defend your base, you'll get points up to 40 depending on how long that raid did last. And also, there are some patrol helicopters kind of roaming around the map.
Yeah, and this is an interesting scene actually, because I've seen Joker do it quite often. They isolate themselves from their base just to get that heli, and it's actually quite intelligent because no one is around here. It's just that team. Joker's sat there with his teammate over on the right. They've took down the heli, and they don't seem to be contested at all by anyone. It's actually a very clever tactic, which I did not. It didn't really come at the start of my cast, and it came towards the end of last year.
Yeah.
It's actually it's very 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 good thinking. But Piwo is going to come over here to try and get a little taste of the helicopter. But I'm not sure if he's naked or not. He looks like it. I'm sure Joker's going to. Ooh, wall placement's on point. He's definitely kept himself alive. They've took the mini over there, it seems. As you can see there on the left, a lot of beds being placed around that area. So it's going to be interesting. There is only one guy from Piwo, and he's already going to be down there, and he's now dead.
Yep, done and dusted, and obviously that patrol helicopter going to be a large target. Like you said early on, just Joker, we've seen them in the past kind of put more resources towards that patrol helicopter, trying to get those points. Obviously, you get 3 points for each crate you claim. There are 5 crates in the helicopter, so that can give you 15 points, especially in this attack phase. It can give you that extra boost, that extra bonus that could push you maybe over some of the other teams that maybe are rebuilding or doing other things while this helicopter's going on.
Yes, and it's actually landed right on the rock. Perfect placement. But you know, they're just gonna have to wait for the fire to go down. It seems like it's on its way to going down. It depends when they're gonna go and loot the crates. But again, Pillow came over, slight threat, got taken out. But RNC are back on the leaderboard, starting top again. RNC always have a game. Sometimes they'll start off very well and they'll fade out. Sometimes they'll fade out at the start and then they'll decide to start working. It's going to be interesting though because there is a soft spot in my heart for RNC if they can actually pull it off. I don't think I've ever seen them win, but I've seen them in a lot of events I've casted, but I've never seen them win. So today might be the change. But you see that little middle base structure? It's going in like a snake. There's a lot of bases just following the line all around there. There's a couple of outstanders there, just putting on the sides and in the far corners, but they are very close together. It's almost like a pub crawl. You're going to crawl from one base to the next on raids, so it's going to be interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting. You talk about just being really, really close together. You want to be in the action. You don't necessarily want to be away from it, but you have to make sure that your base is strong because if you're in the middle of that snake and your base is weak, you're going to be an easy target for some of these experienced teams. You talk about RNC, a very experienced team that's going to be playing here this morning, and they played, like you said, a lot of events back to back to back. Maybe getting top 5s, maybe never getting the win, but today could be their win because they have those experienced players and because they might be able to target, like you said, those bases that might look a little bit weaker to the eye.
Yeah, I do think this is Bradley here, been taken out from Reed. Should give him a couple of points to put on the board. Drop the crates. There is shooting going on though. Oh, and Reed lost loser team from the top of that silo there, just getting a shot down. He's going to run over now and claim the prize, if you will. The whole team actually out for this one. All the loser team players jumping onto the Bradley crates to try and push the points on the board. So that's what we like to see, But what I will notice is usually for Bradley we have a lot more contestants. It seems to be very, very short-founded, the people who are attending this battle, and it seems like loser team might have themselves a free ride here. Obviously, he's just picked up the kit there. He's got himself more guns, which always comes in handy when you're defending for hours on end, which we have seen in the past. People run out of gear, and then that's when the final straw is pulled, and they will end up losing their base. But here's loser team to push themselves into the top 10. Top at the moment.
Top 10, get themselves on up in there, get themselves some crates, some points, and lock themselves a spot in that top 10. Like you say, and also as a reminder, that team that does finish first at the end of the attack phase will get themselves some extra points, an extra bonus 10 points to help them out, to boost them even further. And like you were saying, RNC doing a good job of staying right up there in the attack phase, getting some of those PvP points. Obviously, you can't go and raid, can't really destroy any of those walls, anybody else's bases until that raid phase does start. But I think once that raid phase does start, we're going to see a lot of action because there are so many teams. I think we had, 32 teams in the signups here today with 3v3s. It is looking absolutely crazy. 26 in total, Pet. It is going to be chaos once that timer hits 0.
Yeah, you tend to see as well with 3v3s, 26 will turn into 13 in a matter of minutes. Teams will get destroyed. Oh, wow. Well, that is definitely exciting. Rockets are flying. I'm not sure if there's anybody over there, though. Is there anybody over there? Where is it locked onto? Interesting. Nobody. Unless they defeated. But there you go. Nice little firework display for you, ladies and gentlemen. Happy New Year. There you go. Even the game is on our side. But no, patrol heli inbound. Let's see who's going to take this one.
Yep, patrol helicopter inbound. A lot of points for a team that would wish to claim it. Obviously, Joker's team, I believe they did get some of the points from that first helicopter, so doing just a really, really good job. Now, obviously, with the new rule, again, as a reminder, you cannot build after that grace phase. So these bases are pretty much solidified. You can repair on up. You can make sure those walls are built up to metal or any further. But, you know, once that timer hits 0, once it goes into the attack phase, there's no more building even more. Because like you said, some teams would just build these massive bases in the attack phase because they were out maybe gathering resources or using their time a little bit differently in that grace phase.
Yeah, I think it's possible to do. I think what we're going to see is a lot less reinforced metal.
Hmm.
Because obviously that's what used to happen. You used to have bases that were full metal, and then it's all on the floor. And you go, "Whoa, what's going on here?" Because they'd use the 30 minutes in attack phase to go out and get more.
Yeah.
It could still happen that way. You never know, but it will give teams probably a bit more initiative to finish that base in the first 30 minutes and get everything they need placed. But you know, as I've said, it is possible. You've got RNC over there, probably running a similar roster to when they played Command previously. I see clips already on there. Taking out somebody down there. Duo was met his maker. Then we have Gypsiki here, causing some problems for them from the roof. And that's what I like about these events. It's so close together that it's going to be Roof Raid. We've seen it before. We've actually seen a team called Roof Raiders who are on top of a massive hill shooting down on people. And I think that's going to be the case today. They do have the high ground ever so slightly here. The base is quite tall as well, so they can definitely shoot rockets down. But that is all made out of twig and one rocket, a couple of rockets, and a C4 will take that most of the roof out. It will not be up
Yeah.
there for much longer.
Yeah, really taken down really, really easily. And you know, you talk about that. You talk about the roof rating that you have to. You pretty much because you are so close together. There is a lot of that open field next to you. Like you either have to play some walls or you just have to roof rate. That's pretty much all you can really do to get out and get around. And I know you talk about kind of having to build that base in that first 30 minutes. I mean, it just increases the value, maybe being a thorn in another team's side of building right next to them, maybe getting some kills on them, maybe early on, maybe just going over to look for info. And as soon as that attack phase comes in, build. If you did anything to kind of discredit their base at any point in that phase, it's going to be to your advantage because they're the team right next to you.
Yeah, I must say, losing teams are very impressive at the moment. They are actually now branching out from Bradley, and they are moving in, getting as many kills as possible. Here we have Harry. Then we have Reed. Look like is that Reed? They've got their eyes on Reed at the moment, possibly looking for targets to go after straight after this attack phase in 17 minutes time, or maybe just trying to farm the kill points. And you might not think it, but those kill points do end up playing a massive factor in the end, especially when it's a close tie between 2 or 3 teams. It is usually a grand national in that sense of people are racing to the finish line, and sometimes the kills don't add up until the very end, and a team we didn't expect to win actually do end up coming out on top. So it'll be interesting to see how close it is today. Sometimes we have very, very outstretched winners who have 400 points above everyone else, but other times, it is actually within the 1 or 2 points.
Yeah, it could be really, really close. It is a little bit further spread out, but like you said, every single point matters. Every single minute that you spend of your time is very, very important because if you look away for just a second, you take your base, you jump over the points, and you see that although the attack phase is super pertinent on what happens later on, it is that extra point. Points are always nice to have, and honestly, getting yourself to the top, getting yourself to first at the end of the attack phase, it's extra 10 points. I mean, that's a fourth of the TC that you don't have to work for, that you'll already be ahead of everybody else.
It's definitely firing down, but it looks like it will be taken down by Eclipse here. Oh no, it wasn't Mr. Jafingo, but it is still RNC who will be taking it, and all 3 of them are pushing onto it. I'm not too sure if that's their base over to the left there, but if it's not, then it could cause some problems. Although they do seem to be running towards it, so it would possibly tell me it's their base. Maybe. We'll see now. We'll see. Will the door? Yes,
Oh,
it
yeah.
is. Okay, so they are the advantage of being probably the closest team to the heli, so they'll let it fire down. Looks like they're going to go to the roof here to shoot down on all the people trying to steal their bounty. And it will be, as you see in the distance there, no frames Oh, there's quite a few. There's quite a few people coming out to play. Actually, you've got seven cents down there, looking to come out. There's another one in the far distance there from Andre K. There's a lot of people pushing this. Actually, it's because we could be seeing some good PvP action right now.
Yeah, we really could. And obviously that patrol helicopter worth a lot of points. A lot of teams going to want to push out for that. And like you see from RNC, they just go up to the roof. They know there is about a 5-minute timer on those crates for those fires to expire. So they know they have some time. Go up to the roof, gain some information from seeing where these other teams are, see if they're pushing out, see where they are, and then send your players out, load up some balls, and get ready for this defense. Because like you said, there are a couple of teams around that might want to steal these points. I mean, 15 of them could really push anybody up into the top 10, even the top 5 if they get them. And especially RNC, if they get these crates, I mean, this could possibly be their first place, you know, to jump back up into.
Yep, and it is always helpful because they will get the 10 points at the top. Loser team, though, as I said, going out and getting the kills really has shown at the moment. RNC have eyes on the heli crates. That'll give them an extra 15. Probably get them to the top with 9 points. It's always good to see. And they're also now getting some kill points as well from the teams trying to attack them. And that is one thing that RNC have always been strong at, their attack and their you know, going after teams and killing people. It's always where they like to get their points. Defending is not the strong point, though. We have seen defending be one of the weakest points, hence why they haven't yet managed well, they have won an event when I'm not there, but when I'm here, they seem to be shied away. But I'm seeing a lot of unfinished compounds, though, like whether it's one wall or 3 walls. Like that is very, very risky for no frames. They have an open door essentially for someone to waltz right in, and it does seem like a very bizarrely made base. I'm not quite sure about the shape. I mean, it's got part of the base sticking out of the compound and part of it sticking in. It's very wonky. Definitely doesn't fade well with my head. Very symmetrical.
Okay. It's definitely not symmetrical. It is wonky, but you know, it is chunky. It's chunky and wonky. That's what we'll call that base from now on, and that can be what it is. I mean, like you said, it's a little bit different. You know, might work out, might not. We'll have to see how it does, how they can defend it. I mean, what is a base if you can't defend it? So if they know it well enough, if they can defend it, maybe when that time comes, they should be okay. We see another base going on over here. Looks like some supports on the side, maybe a little bit more. No really roof peaks. They got no real protection up there, but they do have some furnaces going down low, trying to get mostly sheet metal, so mostly all repaired. They have 12 minutes, so they have some time to maybe burn some more metal down, make sure they can get some more sheet metal on towards their walls. But it looks like there is actually a player inside their base. Didn't even see this until now, just hiding out right here next to the loot crates. I don't think they know that there is someone.
Ooh, he did feel the wrath of them shooting down. See if he can hold it off. He gets one. The second one. Oh, he got most of them. And he will get taken from behind. That's quite a smart play from the 7 cents team. 2 of them got taken. Oh, someone else comes through the door and is instantly put to the ground. And now there'll be a bath of bodies just chilling on the ground for people to take away. And that was nearly very, very critical for 7 cents there. Luckily, though, they managed to get the last player back to find the kill. Otherwise, they will have been in a real pickle in that situation. They need to stop leaving doors open. They need to close that front door. Can't keep it open.
Do not leave anything open. Do not give any chance towards your opponents to let them walk on in for free. Some good kills will go over towards the other side, but obviously one player not able to do enough. It will be this time. It looks like it's going to be RNC kind of holding up on this rock, holding down towards this exploded little helicopter, it looks like. But you know, just looking for information. That's the most important thing in these events, is knowing where teams are, knowing where their rotations are going, kind of seeing what they are trying to do, because you don't want them running into you, and if they are running into you, you want to make that into kill points.
Yeah, 100%. Clips, though, looking to probably take the final of these crates. They have now taken the lead by a nice amount of points. The kills definitely helping them to get there, and now they lead with 42 points at the top, only 14 points above loser team. So it's still very close. It's still very close, but the extra 10 points hold it for the next 10 minutes will be very, very useful. Piwo here seems to be one of the teams a bit further out of the action, and they've got a nice little star base going on here. It's finished. It's small, but it is, well, maybe not finished. Not too sure if that's supposed to be very open, but it seems like it is. But they've not yet finished it all, so that'll be a shame. But they seem to have gone with a middle structure and an actual core of the base, and then they've just built a star around it. No deal or no deal going on there, though, it seems.
No. We kind of know where the deal is going to be for that base. But like you said, under 10 minutes for this attack phase, we are approaching our raid phase very rapidly. And like you said, RNC doing a good job of racking up those points, possibly able to get themselves the extra 10 points, like you're saying, if they continue to hold this spot down. Now, importantly, I want to see RNC, like you said, maybe push for some more raids this time, maybe push towards that win because, you know, although they get points this attack phase, you also need to be scouting. That's one of the most important things is scouting those bases which you are going to attack first, which you are going to raid first, which hopefully are going to be really easy for you to get some points.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, one of the biggest problems that they have is that, you know, obviously you could still win the game by defending. You know, you still get a good amount of points for defending, up to 40 points depending on the time. So if you can just defend the whole time, that's great. But we know that RNC can't, so they have to be smart about it. They need to make sure they can defend when they are getting raided. They also need to go out and be, you know, very, very good on the attack. Otherwise, they will not see themselves on top. I think that's probably the biggest problem for them. They can't defend as well as they can attack. If it was consistent and they could do both just as well, they could probably, you know, win a couple more events. But unfortunately, from what we've seen so far, that is not the case. Maybe today there'll be a change, or maybe it'll be the same. But this is, again, very, very nice base. I'm quite happy about this one. SSS. They have got a very bizarre compound, though. It sort of comes out with a triangle there. Interesting.
Does that make you unhappy?
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah. It's not perfect, but at least the base itself is symmetrical. The compound may not be.
Yeah,
No.
compound isn't bases, but we'll have to deal with it either way. But like you're saying, RNC, hopefully they can maybe get some better defense, maybe get some better attack ongoing. And it looks like their attack has continued, going up 20 points now on the leaderboard, holding their lead at 50, looking to get those extra 10 points. And with it being 3-mans, obviously we talked about there is a lot of teams here tonight. So there are a lot of teams available to raid. And look at this already. It looks like possibly some raiding might be going on, some targeting. Looks like some open doors. We talked about it. Don't leave your doors open.
100%, yeah. And you see, this is a slaughter at the moment through the peephole, as it seems. There, and Jomius got himself a kill. Nearly got himself a second, but WRF are holding off for now. That is a very messy compound, actually. There's a lot of gaps and holes to peek through. Wow, okay. That is like, reminds me when I was 7 and I was building. It is a very bizarrely placed base, but again, they seem to got a solid core there. So it'll be interesting to see how that works. But they have actually got themselves a heli, so it will be interesting to see where they can go with this.
Yeah,
maybe
we'll see where they can go with this. Yeah, roof could be an option. There's really no protection up there for the WRF team if they wanted to go up there, but it's going to be anti-air. WRF sending on out and getting 2 kills onto those 2 players. They'll get the res off good enough, and they say, you're not going to fly up, we're going to take you down.
Yeah, definitely. And you can't really complain. He got shot out of the helicopter. The helicopter falls. It's nearly exploded there. But here's 3 bases in a triad. Again, one of those interesting situations. Who will attack who first? Will 2 teams attack one? Will 1 team just sit back and watch? Who will know? But again, that compound is being completely out of twig. And that is not something you want to see with 5 minutes left to go. But we have actually seen a lot of teams play with that. Because it doesn't really matter for a lot of teams. It's just to keep people out for now. Yeah. And they still do very well. So maybe it's not the biggest determining factor in the world. Because the actual main base is sorted. They've got themselves a nice little roof peak there. As you can see, demonstrating for us there is the glory player Outget. Can't complain. They've got themselves sorted. They've got. I think, you know, these guys as well. They're pretty distant from the triad of teams. So they're not doing too terribly.
No, they're not doing too terribly. Like you said, I like that roof being twig a little bit easier, like you're saying, to repair. So it's not as strong of an outer compound wall, but it is there to, repair a little bit easier. We'll see how it does work. We'll see how if a team does decide to raid them, if it does actually affect them. But like you said, a little bit away from the action, holding on towards their roof. We're now under 5 minutes though in towards this attack phase. And a reminder: once this attack phase expires, we have an hour of 30 minutes of a complete rating. You can rock it, you can do anything. And it looks like this base might be one of the targets. It looks like it's going to be Woe's base. And it's interesting, to say the least, Ped.
Yeah, at least they've got doors. You know, a lot of they have no compound, but they have doors, right? A lot of the bases don't actually have doors. They've got ladders all going up their base as well, which probably means someone's already scouted this base for an attack. They've got a pretty plain upper tier to the base, so I think, I've got my money on where the TC will be. But you never know. Some people do still surprise me to this day with their thought process of finding the TC. It's always uncombated how people go about their raids, especially when they're wasting a lot of C4 and a lot of boom. So you never know. Maybe today's a different day. Maybe today we'll see players thinking out their strategic plan perfectly. But you never know. There are still going to be idiots, unfortunately.
Yeah, there'll still be some people that do struggle to find that TC, but that's what Base Invaders is all about, learning and getting the experience in Rust, playing on all the events back-to-back weeks. If you want to join, obviously, these events, they are open to anyone, so make sure to get your team in here one of these weekends, EU and NA events, on back-to-back weekends Sunday, so make sure to get your team in there, get some fun. I mean, I haven't participated in one, but I know they're a lot of fun, Ped. I know you have been around it for a while, and, been casting them for a while too, so.
Yeah, it's very, very exciting. This base actually reminds me of Santa. Very, very similar base to Santa. It looks like a cruise ship. They've got the cruise ship base, and I'm a big lover of the cruise ship base. It's bigger than usual. It definitely is like a tower, but it's got the same idea. They've got quite a nice a roof peak going on. They've got a lot of windows to search through. So good for them. Oh, and that base is actually that's set apart from the rest. That's like a sunflower. They've got the reinforced roof there. They definitely are going to be probably defending mostly from above, judging based off the choice to reinforce the roof. But again, symmetrical base makes me happy. Perfect. The compound is nowhere near, but we can make an adjustment on this one. It's got a reinforced roof. It looks really cute.
Yeah, it's like a sunflower, like you were saying, sticking out of the ground. But we do have 2 minutes left in this attack phase. That final patrol helicopter was taken down a little bit ago. RNC, though, is still getting the points, doing a really good job. 25 points ahead of the leader. And it looks like, actually, our patrol helicopter did fall here right on the beaches, right on the edge of the map. I believe it is going to be Durjo once again to get a second patrol helicopter in this event. So, they're going to get those points really easily, uncontested, because it is so far away from everyone. And a really good job from them to just kind of rack up those points, keeping themselves in second place.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant yet again. It's just going to be an interesting battle though. The Jal are there, but they're not quite at RNC's level. RNC's so you've got and they've already got themselves. Is that into the base? It seems so. I'm not too sure if they're actually in that base, but no frames are already getting trouble. They're definitely outside of it. The compound was open, if I remember correctly, on the far side. Yeah, he's on top of the roof. He's going to be ready as soon as this will be the. They're already there. 50 seconds to go. They're planned out. There's two of them there. Probably one back at home, I'd imagine, defending. And they both are going to try and duo raid this. I don't even know if the players realise they're there, as they are both sat in the core of the base. Whereas Albertina and Mr. J Favino are just sort of chilling on the outskirts. They're not yet approaching inside the base, but 20 seconds, I believe, will change that. And a lot of boom will be blanging. We'll hear it all around the map. The beautiful sound of destruction will meet our ears. It'll be a very, very good watch. Hopefully. A lot of the times these raids fizzle out and it takes half an hour, but 5 minutes. I'm putting 5 minutes on it. 5 minute timer.
5 minutes. Okay. All right, we'll give them a timer. We'll see if they can do it. But the timer is expired for the attack phase. That means RNC gets that extra 10 points. Like you said, we need to see some great attack from them. We need to see some great raids. And already, some great raids are happening. Like you said, they're going to drop from a lot of teams. Very Whoa, going to be eliminated there. It's also going to be another team getting points. All these teams jumping up on the leaderboard. Lika jumping themselves right on into second place, right behind RNC. And RNC, they are looking for a raid right away, like you said, and they could possibly extend their lead even further over all these other teams that are trying to get some points.
Yep, most certainly. And here's the boom. Maybe they don't know where it's going to be. They seem to have a strategy for this. They've not opened anything yet. There's a lot of reinforced metal going around the doors and the frames, so that would be my guess to where it'd be. Although they do seem to be blowing through a door they've just said. This is a slaughterhouse at the moment. Oh, there you go. Building just through a door and they already opened on the other side. But okay, they found the TC though. They found the TC. There you go. They've got a C4 on the TC. They're getting all the loot. And Svinka will probably get the first raid.
Yeah, beautiful. They, like you said, they'll go in, they'll get that slaughter, and Bambiki will be eliminated there. They find the TC, like you said, just blowing through those reinforced walls there, jumping themselves actually up into second place with that TC. So, like you're saying, very, very quickly, a lot of teams dropped off of the leaderboard. And that means points for those teams that had been scouting out in that attack phase.
Yep, and points for all that matters in this game. Points will win you the game. So here is a lot more things going down, and this is just trying to find where it is. A lot of shots coming off. A door's been closed. That was very, very good thinking. Keep the beds alive, keep the respawns there. Now it's just defense. A lot of boom going on. Some death. Not too sure who's defending, who's attacking. In fact, they keep down there. Got rid of the turret. Intelligent throw of the C4 there. And I'd imagine the apps are raiding based off of that C4 throw. But I'm not too sure if there's another team around as well are raiding them as well. It did seem like quite a few people there. More than the 3 man.
Yeah, it did seem like there were a lot of people around this base. Possibly a couple other teams might be also raided. RNC. Oh, it's going to be actually Glory also raided by Lika. They actually split up their numbers. Lika is going to get 2 of those right off the board, and that's going to mean a 1 point for Lika. They are going to be sitting pretty here, but it looks like Apps, like you said, they're going to try and sit pretty as well, try and get themselves a TC.
Yeah, it'll throw them up into the mixer. Lika though, oh, they found it. There you go. TC is open. Oh no, they haven't found it yet. No one's found it yet. It's just sat there in the open,
just there.
and they seem to have defended it for now. But they're back on. There's a team on the roof, not the same team. WRF were raided, which predict. But now we're gonna be. Oh, they're defending it masterfully here. The TC is wide open down there at the bottom. Just needs somebody to go in there and find it. But it doesn't seem like they're going to be letting it go easily here. Piguis are taking everyone out that comes through the door, taking them on the stairs. They've definitely defended that one for now. Obviously, they can't really do much, though, because it is wide open. I'm not sure they can build that back up. I'm pretty sure they can't, so it's a shame. But here comes Rockets zooming down on the roof. Yep, talking about. I'm not too sure where from. I don't know if it's from the ground or from another base, but it's definitely causing damage. The base is flying through. There we go. Big Zeg taking shots again and again and again. That's a very strong team. You see Jelen and Joker there, both fighting alongside each other. Sending rockets through the reinforced metal. That must be where they think the TC's at.
Yeah.
I see where they think.
Yeah, it's got some reinforcement there, but they're just trying to, take some roof raiding rockets, like you said, to do some damage early on. Punch a hole inside of the base that they could maybe get an entrance that they could ladder on up in. Now, frantic repairs are going to try and come on through here, try and block some of those rockets, and obviously you cannot repair with twigs. So you need to make sure that it is that metal to block a shot and make sure that, and obviously those repairs, they take time to actually repair towards strength, and you know, that just makes it a one rocket one rocket wall pretty much.
Yeah, really, really good stuff. It's actually quite an exciting one. Oh, Rem TC gone by Chipsiki. They've taken a base now. They get themselves into second place with 79 points. And this is the moment we were all waiting for. We were all waiting for it to get close. We were all waiting for the points to start flying in. And now those 10 points that you got at the start and the 15 points from the Heli and Bradley, they'll start to come to play. And here's another base. The No Frames base still holding strong at the moment. It is still RNC on the raid, though. They have been pushed out of the compound, it seems. And now they're taking an approach to the opposite side, possibly knowing where it is. Oh, Pigui's finally taken out, not by ADS, but it's APS, but by Azaz, the team that arrived afterwards.
Wow.
There, Jal getting a raid 2. Raids coming in thick and fast, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure we're now underneath 20 teams, because a lot of teams seem to have been disappearing off the map. The snake structure is being dismantled ever so slowly. But, you know, what can you say? These raids are coming out thick and fast, and today we are seeing them happen in a very, very quick time. We haven't even had 10 minutes of play yet, and at least 7 teams have been taken off the map. Really, really good stuff from our raiders today, making this an exciting event.
Yeah, so many teams, like you're saying, falling out already. So many great raids already happening. And that just goes to the prep phase game. We were talking about it, that these teams that went out and scouted, these teams that spent their time to go out and get it, have now been paid in the form of points. Lika, Durjal, Chipsiki, and a couple other teams getting those early raids, you know, have passed the teams the likes of RNC and a couple other teams that were sitting up at the top. And look at that. It is, like you're saying, 24 teams left alive after that short burst of action, that first 7 minutes. It's going to go absolutely crazy. RNC, though, like you're saying, we need to see a raid success pretty early on from them, because, you know, they're now behind. They're behind 27 points. This raid would be the action first, but, you know, they need to keep consistent with it over this hour and 30-minute period. Excuse me.
Yes, interesting. Boomerell. Wow, okay. Well, there's an open door on the other side, but he's going the difficult way anyway. Here we go. Is he still there? He's not. Is he dead? Did he die? He was just there. He's been taken out. They've managed to survive, but the TC is wide open there. Just need someone to come in and tap it on the back for an extra 40 points. And that'll put Boom as well to 98 points. That'll put them second. So that's a big, big raid for them. RNC, though, as you said, they're falling behind. They need another raid. They need to keep going. They'll go top with 40 points. That's what they need. But they just can't yet get the advantage over No Frames. Hopefully they can, and they can do it in timely manner so they can push to the second raid, because this game is about keeping consistent and going to base after base after base. But you've also then got to be careful about the Boom, especially in Freeman. You don't have as much, because there's not as many people going to get resources, but you have a lot more bases to raid. That's the problem that we will find, especially with Freemans. People will run out of Boom towards the latter stages of the event, and that's when it will start to fizzle out a little bit.
Yeah, you run out of Boom during that later stage. You said it perfectly. But also, you know, if you destroy a base, if you are able to take down someone, you can take all their Boom with you. So that kind of resupplies you just a little bit, but you have to find success. Like you said, it is about consistency. It is not about doing good in just the attack phase, doing good in just the raiding phase. You have to do good in both, and for every single minute you have to be pushing out for points, because that consistency is what is going to get you first. If you sit back, if you were just relaxed, not going at getting raids, banking on defense points, or even, you know, just not the raids aren't good enough of quality, you know, you could fall behind enough where it results in you not winning.
100%. And here is, I do not know who's raiding. I would assume it's Big Dick, but I do not know at the moment. But either way, they've both been slaughtered by the Plants player, who looks a bit like a stormtrooper at the moment. I must say, he's definitely taking a Star Wars look in this event. But oh, Stringy there, hanging off the roof, his hand stuck. But no, it seems like Plants are defending here. And they seem to have done a good job of it as well. There, it definitely is their base there. There you go. That one ended as soon as it started, really. And they've progressed no further in the base. Yep, and yeah, there you go.
No
oh, still one more. Dead.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely.
Yep.
Definitely dead. His legs are extended through the floor.
Yeah. Player dead. Looks like there was a helicopter above them. Don't think it was going towards their base. Maybe just flying over for some information. But we do have a raid going on over here. It looks like Reed is going to be the target this time, and it is going to be some team on the outside that has already looked like they've destroyed a little bit of the outer compound wall. Not really punched a hole in the base too much, but they've gotten themselves at least to the outer compound wall and at least broken a hole on inside. So it is this advent calendar type base where the TC could be behind any one of these doors. A nice one, but they're going to have to play this defense from the side of Reed.
You have to love it. Deal or no deal. I didn't think we were going to see it today, but we finally have. Banana taken out by Boom. Boom won that. I think, yeah, that must be the TC that Boom was sat at. Finally taking it. They go to second place. And now we start to see how close it actually gets from 7th place to 1st place. It is very crazy. One raid will determine the position in there. And it actually is interesting to see because these players are they're not going slow today. They're definitely zooming ahead in the event, and so many teams have already been taken away from this event. And here's another one looking to go. Loser team looking to put themselves up on the board. They'll be on joint points with RNC. They can take TC at the moment. Now they'll be above RNC with that one kill they've just found. I wonder if they can find the TC in a timely manner. There's a lot of faces staring at them. A lot of doors here. Which one is it going to be behind? That's actually a scary, scary look at. It's like a Halloween carnival.
Yeah, a creepy hall of mirrors here as it's all pumpkin, like you're saying. Which door could it be behind? That is the question for this team to answer. A lot of loot is what they're finding right now. Pretty much just C4ing all of these walls, trying to see where the TC is, get themselves those 40 points. They just trying to head back up. Speaking of RNC, they have held, although they haven't been getting really any TC points, they have gotten some PvP points to keep themselves at least kind of in the running, which is what you need to at least do. And you know, we need to see that raid success though, like you're talking about. Their raids need to be good, clean, and effective throughout the day today if they want a chance at winning here today.
Yeah, of course. And doors are flying down, but no TC is being shown. Interestingly, they're going for the outside doors now, possibly the strategy to go for. And this team actually, the builders are doing a very good job. They've made it very, very hard to guess where the TC may be, and there's a lot of doors to go through here. And I'm sure this team won't stop until they've gone through every door. I'm just being concerned about the amount of boom they use on this one base. Have they got enough to carry it on for a second raid, or a third raid, or a fourth raid? You've got to think ahead. I don't know. They are using a lot of boom here for this base, and the TC still has no show at the moment.
Yeah, that is the question. Boom economy, how long can you sustain this? I mean, like we talked about, if you do get, you know, that nice, those loot crates at the bottom, you could kind of steal some of the boom, but once you use all of it up, like you're saying, towards the end, if you fizzle out and other teams have boom available to them, and you're just in a bad scenario, they're going to be able to do raids while you're going to be out farming for materials. So, you know, we'll see how that does play later on. You can see how much that map got decimated off. You talked about the snake getting cut into many, many pieces. Many teams already falling out of this competition.
Loser team actually just got the raid there on no frames. RNC were trying to go for that raid, but they've clearly been pushed out, and loser team came in and took it, which puts RNC in a pretty poor position. They still stand 5th, but they haven't got the raid to push them ahead any further. The start and attack phase has clearly benefited in their favour, but I'm not too sure how long it will last until they fall out of the top 10. At the moment, they seem to be doing okay in 5th place, but the teams behind them are certainly looking for more raids. Loser team especially. RNC seen get a raid previous, so it's going to be interesting to see if they can keep hold of it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, and it's kind of like you said that RNC was looking for that raid, and you know, one of the things we didn't really talk about is time. Time was one of the things you can't go farm for, you can't go get more of, and once it's gone, it is not coming back. On that raid to result in absolutely nothing. They spent some boom, they spent some time where they could have spent other places, and like you said, they're doing okay, but they have dropped from 1st to 5th, and they don't want that trend to continue. They're going to have to go out, maybe target a different base, or maybe even target the base that took it from them, but they need to do something. They need to give themselves that extra.
Yeah, I think I'm not too sure what happened with that raid, but they did look like they were inside the base and then so yeah, they've definitely identified another weak opponent here. Whether they can actually see it through is beyond me. They have definitely embedded themselves. A lot of deaths are happening. SSS are around, 7Cs are around, 7 Sens, and also RNC. So it'll be interesting to see how that. Oh, Clips has just been peeked and killed. He heard, I think he heard the C4 being thrown and was like, "No, thank you. I will take you today." Possibly meaning the TC's nearby. That is usually what it shouts to me when the panic starts and people start rushing to one position in the base. But you never know.
Yeah.
It could just be a mental trick.
Could
They could be nowhere near the TC yet. We don't
Yeah,
know.
it's-
We haven't seen
mind
it, so
game.
we don't know. They play mind games on the casters too.
Yes.
They play mind games on everybody.
Mind game on the production, mind game on the casters, mind game on all of the other players. But like you said, it is that kind of panic that helicopter just crashes onto the roof. Only one player will survive off of that one. Someone is actually down low by that outer compound wall. The first player killed off the roof. The second one will follow as RNC has this point defense here, just holding it out on these metal burners on the outside, and it's going to be one play from RNC getting on into the inside, getting some kills, and just a good job from RNC to play together. Not only just playing good, hitting their shots, but playing together as a team to win that fight.
Yeah, 100%. They've managed to kill the majority inside there. They've not stopped shooting down. They've came back when they've been killed. Eclipse making his return, as well as his teammates. Now it's just about finishing it off and finding that TC. Hopefully they can do it in the next 10 minutes at least, because that will give them then time to rush to another base. But they've also got, again, oh, you know, he just talked about the pistol. But as I was going to say, the boom economy again is going to come into place here. They've failed one raid already. They've already used boom up there, and now they're onto a second. So you've got to think these raids need to pay off for these teams, otherwise the boom will not last, and they will not get the points that they feel that they deserve for using the amount of boom. So they've got to be careful. They cannot use it all in a short period of time, otherwise they'll be stuck defending for the last hour.
Yeah, you don't want that boom economy to expire very, very early on. You want to give yourself opportunities throughout that hour and a half. I'd also like to say, you were mentioning it, that although RNC, they have not gotten themselves a TC just yet, the PV points they have racked up have been absolutely massive, still keeping themselves in a third place position, 108 points at the moment. And we're talking about, once again, you're talking about how tight this top 7, top 8 is at the moment, that any team in here could gets this TC could really push themselves into first place. We're talking about RNC in third right now, racking up those kill points. They get a TC, they'd be 20 points ahead any other team if they got this TC here. But it's like you said, that boom economy going to come into play. You do not want to use it.
Yeah, and that's what RNC do best. They like to raid. And when they raid, they do it in such fashion that no one can stop them. They like to get kills, they like to go out, they like to attack, and no one can stop them from that. They've never been stopped at doing such successful things, and we see it almost every event. You know, attack phase is always the well, they get the Ellie's, they kill people. So if they can keep some continuity on that and keep getting kill points, they can solely win the event just off 1 or 2 raids and kill points, and maybe a couple of defenses there too. So that's a tactic they play with, and they play with it so often as well. So maybe they'll keep it going. Maybe they'll pull it off for us.
Yeah, it is definitely possible. Like you said, it's going to be about consistency and getting not only those TCs. We talked about those attack points. They are very, very key, making sure your shots are on point. But it looks like we're going to have RNC maybe split up just a little bit. RNC, they're going to be looking to this base. We're trying and maybe get some points on towards the board. The 50 points have been coming through. We want to see those TCs as well. They've cleared out actually a lot of this base. They're going to continue with the rocket, continue with the C4, and use up some of their boom into towards these face doors.
Yep, the Mona Pisa getting taken out there. RNC still haven't found the TC though, and a lot of boom is being put into it, and that is just absolutely nothing. I'm not sure they realise that though. That's why a lot of people go to this one wall, whilst his teammate is just below that. SSS taken out by Dergel though. That'll put Dergel into third place now, because I think Chipsicki might have just got a raid. Yeah, Reed's taken out. Chipsicki jumped right up to top. The point system being very fast for us today. Maybe it's, I think they changed it. So there you go. Chipsicki now take back the first spot almost right after, or at the same time even, as Deja got their raid, and they pushed themselves back to top, pushed Deja into third place, pushing RNC out to 5th place. That's how very, very beneficial a TC could be. And it means that if RNC do get this raid, they're only ahead by about 9 points. It's a really good start.
That's how beneficial TC can be, and that's how quickly the leaderboard can change, like you mentioned it. RNC dropped down to 5th place, and you talked about it a little bit earlier that the teams are going to get cut very quickly. We've seen that. We've seen a lot of teams been dropped out. We've seen a lot of teams been eliminated, but what we didn't talk about was as time is going to go on in this event, there's going to be less and less and less teams to raid on the map. And that means less possible easy targets. You talk about all of these experienced teams, Joker's team. You talk about RNC coming today. All these teams that are going to have really strong bases that will not only take more boom, they're going to be harder to attack because the defenders are stronger. So, you know, those TC points might not be as easy to get as time goes on.
Oh, and Reed have been eliminated for a second time now. Yeah, I mean, they were just eliminated by Tipsticky, but just to make it fair, they have been eliminated again. Do not worry, they are definitely gone. They are not here anymore. Twice they've been eliminated, so... Oh, he's a sneaky close there, but he will be taken out. Came out too soon. If he just stayed still in that spot, he may have got a different outcome, but instead he decided to be the hero and was taken to an early death.
Plot armor. Is what it is, though.
It's like a Shakespeare story.
Yeah. Tragic. Tragedy will strike. An hour and 8 minutes, though. Will be what it's like for all these players to play with. Some time left, about approaching, you know, 2/3 in this raid phase. Gotta keep on going. Consistency being the most important thing. Lika, Durjal, and Chipsiki right now leading the leaderboards with Savika and RNC trailing just shortly behind. RNC, though, again, the kill points are coming through. I mean, I saw them at 100 just a couple minutes ago. Now they're up to 115. So they're doing a really good job of just getting those kill points, but no successful raids just yet.
Maybe that's the problem. Maybe they're not going to raid them. They're just going to kill them. They're going to keep them running at them. They're just going to farm the kills. That could be a good tactic, actually. That could work. Yeah, they just keep farming those kill points in the base, and they take it forward, and they get the raid at the very end. It's the big celebration. They've finally done it after an hour and 30 minutes of raiding. They've got the raid they need. They win the event. That is a great story. It's a great fairy tale. But again, it's a fairy tale. They need to get pushing. They need to raid. They can't just stick there forever. They've got to move on. They've got to go to another base. They've got to get a raid. Then they've got to defend. Then they've got to keep the boom in the midst of that. And for your users watching, thinking, oh, it's easy. It's not. There's a lot of factors to consider in this game, especially when you have a smaller man team, because a lot of things are affected by the amount of players you have. Like who you send out to attack, who you send out to defend, who goes and gets resources, who goes for Bradley, who goes for the patrol helicopter. A lot of different tasks and roles that teams need to fill out, and with 3 people, it's quite difficult, which is why I prefer the 3-mans and the 4-mans, because it's so exciting. And that's why we've had about 9, 10 raids already, you know. Gotta love it. Reed raided twice as well. Brilliant.
Oh, yeah, of course. Get them out of here, make sure kick them while they're down. But yeah, like you said, with 3-mans, it's a little bit more of that chess match we talked about, that you don't have the resources to maybe keep 3 people back to defend, send 3 people out to maybe go get resources or go to a raid. You have to send all of your resources to one place, because I mean, raiding with one person, that's not going to really do anything. I mean, you can't really split up your resources, and putting one person back to defend, you might just get overrun. So it really is, you have to be very, very careful about where you are putting your people, and those roles are important. Like you said, the IGL, those fraggers, all very important. The defender, the builder, everyone very integral to all of these teams, and we're seeing it here today play out.
We certainly are. There's a lot of teams raiding at the moment. We can see them all up on the map, big red lovely dots, the dot of doom for certain teams. And this one seems to be down very, very quickly. Jelen sat on the outside, the roof rockets ground, shots coming in from the ground. Jelen is taken out down there though from Big Zeg. And I think it's the same raid they've been going for since the start, to be honest. Oh, then again, maybe not. Maybe it's Big Zeg defending here, as Joker is pulling it off on the top. Apps are eliminated by Azers. Azers now going to push themselves up to 6. RNC being chased, and now we start to see the top 9 teams, apart from Apps who have left us, very, very closely packed together. Only, I think, 65 points difference between the top and the bottom of the leaderboard at the moment. So that's actually very, very close. That's a couple of kills and a raid. So
very, very packed. I mean, we talked about that those top 10 teams are going to start to become a target once time goes on, and there's going to be no targets left. So Abs loses, they will be out of the competition. Azers, they are the ones to take them out. Like you said, they'll be able to chase down RNC at this point. Just trying to like on this raid right now, just defense trying to complete. There are some high quality metal door frames here into this one, but it looks like some of the base has already been somewhat destroyed and some holes already punched on through. Though we'll see how this team can try and finish this one off, because I believe, like you said, this is Big Zerg's base, and this is Joker. This is a team that is very, very experienced. Let's see what they could do to try and mount this defense.
at the moment, it's not going too well. You've also got to count in that Mango's on the other side, and Mango's another player. So that's where it sort of cancels out, and that's why the exciting, because there's a lot more players spread in the team. They all split and change. Where you have the 7-man teams, you now have 2 3-man teams, and a player goes wild in another team. And a lot of these teams, they'll have like 10 to 15 people, maybe more, probably more, for certain orgs, and they will literally pick the best players to go forward. But when there's such short events with 3-mans and 4-mans, maybe even 5-mans, you don't actually have the amount of players that you'd like. So they end up fighting against each other. Again, like a story from Shakespeare.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one, because you never know who's going to come out on top, and that's what the best part about the smaller events are, the 3-mans and the 4-mans, because you don't know which team will actually perform on the day, which player will perform the best. People might have their peak performance, people might have their worst performance, and it all relies on focus and concentration, especially in this game.
It does. It really, really does. And you talk about fighting against the people of possibly your own org, your own friends, and you talk about maybe, the aspect of knowing the build. I mean, if you had a base for maybe those 7-mans, those 6-mans that you built together, that the builder specifically said, we have to defend this part of the base, this is what we're building, this is where the TC is going to go, and then all of a sudden in 3-mans you're like, oh, I just played again. I literally was just in this base. I'm now playing against it. I know where the TC is. I know where to attack. I know where that weak point is. It can be that, really easy base for you to raid because you know it so well, because you know possibly the builder or the other players on the team.
Yeah, most definitely. And again, a lot of bombs coming off here. C4 loading. Still no sign of the TC, but this base is ripped apart, especially on the outer side. It has no walls anymore protecting it. But here we go. A lot more booms going off. These doors on the roof are getting taken down. A reinforced one here leads to a pathway into the base. Maybe they'll start to burrow themselves down Invaders. But it seems to be an advent calendar style. If you look down,
It's like
a lot of doors are present, and there's a couple of teams there now actually. Povida have made an appearance. Big Zeg still trying to defend Jellen down there. 14 health though, he's not looking too healthy at the moment. But then it seems that the raid might just swap positions, and a different team will be taken on.
Yeah, it could possibly be another team walking in to try and take all the progress that another team did. Nice C4 actually going to pull down towards these lower levels here. As we approach the hour mark, we can take a look at the leaderboard. Has slowed down a little bit. You predicted it that we're going to have a little bit of a slam early on. We can see down to 19 teams from 26. And that's going to be a lot out very, very early. And it'll obviously continue. A lot of these teams still going to be dropping. The 3-mans, there's still going to be a lot of action going. But, again, this is going to make it a little bit harder for those raids. Some more veteran teams out on the leaderboard. The leaderboard just a little bit tighter. I mean, we're seeing, once again, 2 teams tied right now on second and third. We got Gypsy leading right now. Lika, RNC, Azers, Boom, and all of those players, they're still in it. Like, no one is out of it at this point, and you're not out. You have to keep going, though. You have to go get some raids, because if you slow down, I mean, you could see what happened to RNC. I mean, they've dropped a few places, still staying in it, but really need a TC to jump themselves back in right now.
Yeah, they are slowly slipping. A TC is open here. Who's there? Okay, there you go. Found it. Is he? Yep. He definitely has. There you go. That's another raid. That's Joker's team eliminated. One of the big dogs. Big Bear are going to be taking an L essentially, and that is actually quite a common thing we see now. Just underneath the roof defense, in the same real position, we start to see the TCs being placed, and it's actually really exciting. to see when that happens because some teams already know. A lot of teams scout out before the base is built. They're like, that's where the TC is. And we've seen it quite a lot actually. Teams who already have base, so good for them.
True, and as we are now under an hour on the total time here, 2/3 of this raiding phase left for any of these players here. Some skirmishes going outside of Lika's base. Now, as we talk, it looks like Cordy also going to be eliminated, possibly maybe building around their TC, maybe doing something they're not supposed to. But under this hour, I mean, we got to talk about it that as time goes on, there are going to be the targets on these top teams are going to be bigger and bigger and bigger. Because if you can take out that top team, if you could maybe say that, if they're 30 points ahead of me, if I take out this top team, I don't have to take somebody else's TC. I take them out, I jump in points, and there would be nobody else to contest me up there. Those targets can increase, and you gotta watch your back as time goes on. Maybe have one of those players like you were talking about back for a scout defense.
Yeah, definitely. And here we go. Chip Sicky, RNC, 7 cents, all present at this raid. RNC have been on this for quite a while. Ghoulie eliminated by the Ghost. No one knows who or why. Probably an admin one to be taken there. Here we go. A lot of players inside. Shots coming out. Is anybody going to be... who's actually raiding this base? There's 3 teams here. There's the Raj. Oh, there's Gal. RNC, Chip Sicky. And they're all killing each other. They're not even raiding the base. It might work in the favour of the actual defending team here because everyone's killing each other. They're clearing the pathway. Then XC also eliminated. Probably got an admin one there.
Yep.
So teams now dropping them down to 17, 16 teams now.
Yep, dropping down really low, down to 18 teams. It looks like after a couple of those dropouts, like you were saying. But yeah, like you said, the defenders are kind of getting gifted here because everyone fighting each other. Instead of raiding this base, they have to focus on getting those PvP kills. It takes some time in the actual game to switch from your rocket to your rifle. So you have to have that rifle out if there's someone right by you. If you have your rifle out, well, you don't have your rocket out and you are raiding. It looks like the rockets will start to continue. Some raiding will start to continue. And some more doors.
The story of base invaders. But a lot of players are getting taken down here. I think there might have been 2 Jokers. Jokers on Dare Jal and was also on Big Zeg. I wonder who the real... I'd hope it's the one on Dare Jal. I think that's the real one. A lot of teams just get eliminated by the Ghost of Christmas. No one knows why. Another one gone. Teams eliminated left, right, and centre now. Which will put us onto low amount teams. Oh, teams are flying down. It's almost like Hunger Games. This different districts are getting taken out by the second.
Twice, yeah.
Just like Reed. 2 times, make sure they realise that they're out.
Yeah, kick them while they're down. Kick them twice.
Throw them down while they're often helping the hand up. You just throw them back.
Yeah, of course. Well, obviously those teams will be eliminated. Probably just some sort of admin, some sort of something else. But as time goes on, like we're talking about, less and less teams going to be there for those raids. So see what they can do with that. Some more doors, though, like you're saying, the story of the Invaders will continue with this raid right now. Some more red doors, some different colored doors. At least a little bit of variety. So they'll get some variety in their eyes as they're kind of blowing through every single door.
Yep. I'm still not sure how this base is still standing.
I don't know.
It's had about 9 teams run through and out. 9 teams battled out. RNC seems to be the successful ones. More doors are getting placed. Repairs are coming in. No deaths just yet. A lot of C4 going onto this wall here, but it will take them to nothing. No TC to be hidden there. They're just trying to find every crook and cranny to find this TC because it will give them the boost that they need. They will go quite high. They'll go top of the closest. And they'll still be very close to Chip Sicky if they get a raid, but kill points on top of that, then they could take the lead. They just need a TC. We've been saying it since the start. They need to get a raid. They still haven't found one. It's costing them. It is costing them time. It's costing them boom. It's costing them probably mental strength as well, I'd imagine. It's a shame.
It is. It really is. Like you're talking about, leading at the end of that attacking phase kind of slowed down just a little bit. They need that raid to get back into this game. They need a raid and they need those kill points to get there. But talking about a raid, we're going to be looking at a boat base that you talked about a little bit earlier. Kind of an extended boat base that has, let's say, a little bit of crack in the hull, I would say.
Going down at the Titanic at the moment.
Yeah.
Bombs away. Svinka are the raiders. Go top quite convincingly with a raid here. So if they can pull it off. Only problem they'll have is the amount of doors and spaces this could be hidden in. It is very, very large, to say the least. Three or four layers of just straight hiding spots to be placed in the TC. So they need to get going quickly. Not using all the boom. They've got to be cost effective in terms of, or boom effective in this base, so they can go again and raid. But it will be the second one they will get, maybe the third. I've lost track, but they've definitely sunk this ship.
Yeah, like you said, they have to not use their boom, but they also have to use their boom. But they also have to not use their boom. But they have to use their boom, but they have to not use their boom. They have to use it very effectively, like you're saying. Keep up that boom economy because, like you're talking about, you use it too much. Like, you get into that last 30 minutes, 15 minutes. If you don't have any boom, you're just going to be stuck on a defense while all these other teams are out raiding. And that is just not something you want to happen. Now, we're going to be hopping on over towards the letter team. Looks like they, might have some guests on in here. Looks like Chipsiki, though, is actually going to eliminate 7 cents here. Chipsiki, that is huge for them, and they are going to be the first team to get over the 200-point threshold, extending their first place lead.
It's quite hilarious, actually, that that's happened. Wow. So Chipsiki were there with 1 man. RNC were there with 3.
Yep.
Then Darejal came with 3. And then Chipsiki take the lead.
Yep.
Again, 213 points. They put themselves 50, well, nearly 50 points clear.
Yep.
And they are sitting at the top very, very happily, no problem. And they'll be able to go and raid again. Brilliant stuff. Well done. They are looking like they are.
They are.
Themselves.
They're looking just strong. I mean, like you said, it just walking there, pickpocketing the pockets of Derjal and RNC, who sent so many members over there, who wasted food, who also, like you said, put time into that base, which once again leads to nothing. RNC, once again, all of their points are from kill points and that attack base here. They have not gotten a single raid here off. A couple of these other teams, Lika, Derjal, Svinka, have all gotten a raid off, but they need to continue to keep going. Derjal, that one hurts as well. You were talking about that they spent time and resources into that base, 3 players, and it resulted in nothing. Again, good on Chipsiki, and they'll take back first. They'll keep first, actually.
It's funny. It's the problem with RNC. They can't seem to finish it off, and it's the second time it's been stolen from their fingertips. Lose a team for the first one. Lose a team now have disappeared off the top 10. I'm not sure if they're still alive actually, but you know they can't keep getting the raid stolen off them, or they won't get any chance of winning. They need a raid. Just go out and find one, RNC. Just take one. You steal. You be the stealers for once.
Wait, so let me get this straight. In base invaders, you have to invade bases?
For real.
I didn't think about that. Well, that's crazy. RNC, maybe they should look at the name and maybe get one off. But like you said, yeah, they need one. I mean, 2 different raids stolen off from them. It's gonna hurt. I mean, that would possibly have put them into first place, have kept their first place, but you know, right now they're gonna be looking for another one. Teams are gonna start to dwindle down. The raids are gonna get harder here. We're hopping into another raid where it looks like some rockets already flowing out here in towards this base. This boat base, where you said is very strong, has a lot of opportunities to hide this TC in, and it's gonna take a lot of moves if they don't guess right soon.
They need to start finding it. There's no other word for it. They need to find it. They will not have another raid after this if they keep going with the same boom they're going. The kill points are coming in for them. They're at 151. They were at 140, 30 a couple of minutes ago. But you know, 50 minutes are left. You can't just waste your time. If it's not working, we do often leave the base, abandon ship for this situation, and they go elsewhere. I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, some people just don't want to give up on something that they've spent so much time on. And it's understandable, but sometimes you just have to go. Like Elsa said in Frozen.
These are so true. Yes, listen to the words of Elsa, let it go. But you know, it's a hard choice. You know, it's like you said, you have kind of that small emotional connection because you have put so much in towards that base. Also, Free Shika is going to be eliminated by Lika, so Lika is actually continuing to keep themselves in towards the competition. They're going to be only 7 points behind Chipsiki, but you know, it's like you're saying that this base especially, they've put so much boom into, and it's pretty much, do you continue to throw the boom knowing you already wasted all that boom and possibly waste more boom, or do you give up and try and make it something new and maybe not waste all that boom and not have that connection towards the base? It's tough though, because like you said, you have put so much into it, you put time and effort into it, and it's tough to just let it go.
Yeah, Frozen does come to this moment, and I don't think they'll stop. I think it'll carry on all the way through.
Never watched Frozen.
Oh, you've never watched Frozen?
No, they never watched.
Oh, they never. I was gonna say Frozen's a classic. Even older people watch Frozen. Sing along too. They get to sing along. That's maybe what they need. Get the song going in their head. Start singing it and move on. Here's the very nicely built base. The one you could run your hand across the roof and it'd be a smooth surface. Can only imagine. But we're going to be moving on because no one seems to be getting very deep into bases anymore because they are seemingly collapsing. Az is still going strong with their bizarrely shaped base and compound.
Yeah,
interesting.
Our kind of snake has kind of turned into a dot graph. It's going to be Boom that is going to get another elimination, though. It's going to be good for them. Jumping up, but once again, I mean, we're talking about RNC back down to 6th place. Boom, though, with that, they're keeping themselves in. I mean, 60 points behind is still doable within 45 minutes, but, you know, as that map showed, there are a lot of teams already that have fallen out. So there's not going to be that many targets left for you to hit other than these veteran teams that most likely have a good idea on what they should do for their defense, but right now it is going to be the boat defense that we have to focus on. The defense that is, you know, it looks like the team might have left. I mean, they have put a lot of boom into it. They put a lot of work into it, but might have just, you know, walked out and left.
Yeah. It's a scary one. Losers team coming in to get some kills. Yep. FFA and Joya taking out I Feel Alive. Well, not anymore, mate. You're dead. It's quite ironic.
Still dead.
The boat base still going strong, still sailing at sea with a very big hole in the ship. It'll eventually, just like the Titanic.
Is there space on like the door frame for all the members?
Yeah, I wonder if Jack will survive this one. Interesting. It might be a new rewrite of the story.
Oh yeah, it's one where the Titanic survives with a massive hole in it.
Maybe this time they have patches.
Oh
to,
yeah.
Stop the hole from leaking water into and sinking the ship. Because
Yeah,
it's quieting down though. It's quieting down, which would suggest to me no longer there. Which both are true.
Or maybe they told the captain not to run into an iceberg.
Definitely. He ran into an angry team of base invaders and
yeah, good possibility. But again, we are approaching the halfway marker in this raid phase. The event almost coming to a close here, and you know it's this leaderboard once again. Chipsiki still holding down that first place. Lika very close in second, and then it's pretty much a 40-point gap. That is a whole TC gap between Lika and the next team. So you know, it's going to be the factor of what do you do now with your time? Do you go out to, maybe you're low on boom, like you said, maybe you need to go out and farm for some more resources, or maybe this is your time to get some raids successfully. And I'm talking successfully, not just put some boom into that.
Yep. That is the one. None of these raids though seem to be doing too much. It just seems to be people shooting rockets, getting the red blob, and then stopping. It seems like the Svinka raid might be the only real possibility. I Feel Alive back in the ship. He wants a free ride. Possibly not chosen the right boat to sail on though. It doesn't seem like it's got too much life left to go. Svinka still going though. They're still going with it. They've not let it go. They've betrayed Elsa. They've still found nothing. Eventually, though, after another 20 minutes, they'll find it. The last door will be behind the last door.
Surely, they're intaking so much copium now that possibly it has to be behind this next door. Oh, it's not behind the next door? Okay, it's behind the next door after that one. It's not behind that one? Okay, okay. It's another door. Probably behind the next one, the copium. The copium is there. They're gonna keep on going with it.
It's ouchie. What is going on? They must get to a point where they just think, what is going on? We can't keep doing this.
Can't keep doing
Or they can't enjoy it, surely. It's a bit plain. Door after door after door after door. In this boat hotel. All the cabins, the one by one triangles. I mean, I don't see the point of blowing that wall up either if they're going to go through the door. Keep consistent. Either go through the door or go through the wall. Let's do both. Leaker getting another. Oh, Leaker taking it there. That's really good for them. They're now top by around 40 points.
Yeah.
37 to be exact.
That's absolutely massive for them. They'll be able to take home some points. Like you're saying, back into first place for them. And this will come down to whether or not this team right here can kind of bounce back. Savika is trying to really get this TC. Like you said, they are not giving up. The copium is there for them. They want this TC. They want it badly. And they're going to blow through every single wall in this base bed, I think, to find it.
Hopefully. I do hope they find it after all this boom that has got into it. But if they run out, it'll be kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie, it will be funny if they can't keep the raid going because they run out. And it'll mean the base has served its purpose. That's exactly what it's supposed to do. Drill the minds of the raiders. Get into their heads. I do not know where the defenders are though.
Yeah.
I don't even know if the base
They're designed that much.
I'm not too sure. Oh, RNC are coming for this one. So they found the opportunity. Maybe now they'll take my advice and they'll steal the Steelers. And they'll take it from the hands of Sphinker, who spent long hours trying to get through this base. Must be coming up to half an hour now on this base, surely. Still no options, still no answer. But there's a lot less doors from where it's... That's the one positive to take from it. But now they've been taken out completely by RNC.
Yeah. There
And
is
Chip's
no
Sticky
doors left. Yeah, there's two top teams here actually. Chipsiki and RNC both in the area. Both looking to steal all of the work that Sinvika did put into this base. So it's also a lot of teams, actually 3 other teams are walking on over to try and get in this base. So RNC, they need to finish it. They need to finish it quick. Like you were saying, not a lot of doors left in this base. It is pretty much open for anyone that wants to walk into it.
And that is the important thing, it is open. They need to take advantage of that though, or they'll be in a very bad place. Hopefully though, hopefully they can make it work.
Yeah, hopefully that is the hope for them. Sitting in 6th place right now, they will need a couple of TCs back to back to back to try and connect and continue on this one. This looks like it might possibly be Lika's base. I'm not 100% sure. And, this is the top team right here. This is the top team that has to now mount a defense. I mean, we talked about at any moment, the target is on your back, the target is there, and it doesn't matter how many points you have. If you can't defend right here, you are out.
That is the fun of the game. And it's the fun that RNC haven't really seen. But they haven't been raided either, so 2 sides to every story. We're just going to try and get another raid though, it seems. Is this Boom's base? I'm not too sure whose base this actually is.
Believe it's Lika's. I'm not 100% sure. I believe they were inside. I believe Boom was raiding from the top when it did come through, but yeah, so it'll be Lika's base. But obviously they'll mount the defense. They clear the Boom members out, they clear them off the top, and hopefully they are able to reset, repair those walls. But a little bit of dangerous situation there for them. Good they knew though. I mean, you talk about if you don't have somebody back, if you don't have a scout, if you aren't close enough to your base to hear those explosions going off, I mean, your base can be taken really, really quickly if there's no defense to defend it. Talk about no defense. We are going back to the boat base. It's going to be Eclipse just chucking some Boom down in towards this hole, looking to see if it is maybe, possibly behind this door. Oh, RNC. They have picked the perfect door. They have picked the pockets of any of the other raiders, and they have taken their first raid of the night.
It's happened to RNC twice. Twice it's been taken from them. Finally, they've managed to take one. Puts them in 3rd place. They're quite nice. Still, though, they need another raid if they want to catch up. They've left it too late, maybe. They've still got 40 minutes, but then it's a question of how much boom do they have to raid another base. Will they have to come and steal another one in the last minutes, or will they have to go from scratch and start completely fresh on a new base that hasn't been touched yet? But I do think Lika will become a target now they're top. So will RNT and Chipsiki. They will all be targets for the lower teams, especially. It'll be interesting to see if any of the top three at the moment actually drop out of the competition. It usually happens that way. At least one.
Yeah.
At least one.
Yeah, we've seen that. I mean, we've seen people already targeting Liko. We've seen those targets grow and grow and grow on towards the backs of those top teams. But like you said, that is pretty massive for RNC. Not only, like you said, for the points, which they're going to need some more of to catch back up, albeit, but, you know, for the morale. Like you said, 2 of those raids getting stolen from their grasp does not feel good. This one feels good, though. They are the ones that have stolen from the stolen people. And, you know, that's really gets himself up in a 3rd place is good for the morale, and hopefully they can continue on. They're going to need one more, though.
Yeah, it's amazing. But they are definitely constantly going through here, looking to make their mark. They are still quite far out of the competition, but they're still in the top 10.
Yep.
They have not found the TC just yet. But maybe it's to come soon, hopefully, to them. They can put themselves on the map. I think that's what they're trying to do anyway. I'm not too sure if it's going very well for them at the moment.
Not going super well, but they're trying to just find that TC, see what they can do, blow a hole on into it. Looks like they're just going to chuck some C4, excuse me, on up into this corner area. Nothing behind it at the moment, but they will find some more doors, so that's pretty exciting to find some more doors behind the doors.
Yeah. Well, it's curious to see if it's going to go anywhere, actually. It's been the same thing over and over again, it seems, on repeat.
Oh, they got it.
There you go. Well, that's probably the fastest raid we've seen today. No messing about there. In, out, next one. On to the next one. They're finally raiding. They were defending earlier against the team they've just raided, actually. They did fight back, and they took the advantage and they won.
Yeah.
But here we have another raid, ready to go. Chipsiki, Big Dick taken out twice again. Gotta confirm it. Make sure it's definitely happening.
Yep. I don't look at it twice.
Chipsiki are not wasting time sending rockets into this base. They want another raid. They want to get that top spot back. It's been stolen from them from Leaker, and they need to take it back.
Yeah. It's been stolen. They want it back. They want it for sure. And it's obviously this raid defense right now is being mounted actually really well. It looks like they've cleared them mostly out. Chipsiki is forced to go back towards their raid base here. As it looks like just some of those beds, some of this just cover is what they're going to have. As it looks like it's going to be the push forward from this other team. They're going to try and clear them out, Chipsiki. They have some players further back, but I mean, other than that, I mean, they have a couple players close. It looks like those beds and that loot will be enough to get them 1 kill and at least keep those beds, at least keep those respawn points. But it looks like, I mean, it's not really a great raid right now. I mean, they can't get out of this area. The roof snipes are just too much for them.
It's the story of their life.
Yeah.
It's I think Chipsiki are slowing down. And
Sure. Yeah.
Well, 1 for 1. I'll take that trade any day. They've got beds there, though, so it won't really matter. They've got themselves put there. A good move for SD now is to move out and take them beds out. Just go and get a C4, a couple of C4s down, remove the beds, then you've defended. He's hiding behind the wall. Mr. Meanwhile, the other players are just hiding behind other walls. It's almost like a Mexican standoff. They're pushing around the outside. Don't talk to them as well. And there you go. They've managed to survive. Who's Meanwhile again? That's a very far shot coming from Chipsiki from the far end. Real pick there, coming in over the horizon. Those beds might be gone now though, so unfortunate for them.
Yeah, looks like the player from the building, though, did find a kit here. We'll be able to put some pressure on towards this Chipsiki player and get the kill. Some nice kills going towards this defending team of SAS Data is going to be, you know, really good on that defense just to clear that out. Like you said, get some C4 on the beds, get those destroyed. That is actually, I didn't notice up until now, but that is Nikita's team of Chipsiki. Again, another veteran player that is playing here today. And obviously, they're doing well, but they do need to do some more Alika. They have been racking up those kill points up to 272 on the overall leaderboard right now. They're 50 ahead of anyone, and they're up even 100 ahead of that third place team of RNC right now.
Yeah, it's a crazy journey, RNC. Proven. So yeah, take out Leaker would probably be the. You've got to take out Leaker. They're the top dog. They're the ones you need to look out for. Turrets though, defending the base here. No one else though. Cucumber's finally making a appearance. TTV Fartmaster 69 gets taken out. What a name, by the way. Turret though, finally destroyed, gives them now a chance to jump onto this base and push themselves, hopefully 40 points in their eyes.
Yep. 40 points, a possibility. Like you're saying, though, a couple teams might want to target Lika at this point. Maybe as it gets just a little bit close. Oh, that's a C4. That's a beautiful C4 landing right on the TC. Oh, it is going to be Cucumbers eliminated. Azers, they're actually, with that, going to jump above RNC, jump themselves into third place. A beautiful snipe with the C4 and a beautiful base take from them. That's going to be 40 points awarded.
Yeah, that was crazy. They can't have done that by chance. They must have knew that was there. I can't believe that they've just done that in like 3 seconds. That took them.
Yeah.
Take up the turret and then take the CC in the first raid, first C4s. But now we see another messy base getting cleared out from one corner. There's Jal here. They're still playing. They're still going strong. One raid puts them up to nearly second, but they'll be third place for the time being. Maybe kill points will take them above the threshold.
Yeah.
They'll do 10 kills in a raid here, 50 points, and then they'll be right up there. So hopefully for them, they can make it. If not, unfortunate, and Chipsiki will remain in the second place. I know they are raiding elsewhere as well, so it will be interesting to see who gets the next raid, and it will be going until the very end as well. Whoever gets the last raid, whoever gets the most kills at the end, they will most likely be crowned winner. So Lika have not yet won it, because they have still the possibility to be raided.
Yep, there's still the possibility to raid it, and there's a possibility, like you said, that one team does jump ahead of them, although it might be a little bit far-fetched that one of the teams under Chipsiki or Azers does get up to that point. It's still a possibility for them, and like you said, they have to have a really good defense. And also, we haven't really talked about defense points a lot, but defense points can also come in key near the end, because there are all those random raids, maybe some raids on some of those either Chipsiki, Azers, or RNC could boost them up to 10 or 15 points that could be just barely enough to give them the win if Lika is not careful.
Yeah. It's crazy actually how well these guys perform. Pro Better still going on. They've been playing since the start. They have not yet been raided. And it looks like they're going for Lika. Or maybe not, actually. War, maybe? Oh yeah, Lika's behind them. So yeah, they're definitely going on to War here. They're going to war with War.
Yeah.
And oh, it's like a body buff at the bottom there.
So much already destroyed from this base. They're going to try and get some damage on into the core, some damage onto the outside. Hopefully find this TC. It looks like that mid area is it has some doors, it has some jump ups also there. Some ladders though going to be all around the outside for them to mobilize all around the building. Behind this door is absolutely nothing for them, just some wasted boom. All they will get from that one. The C4 will continue though. They're going to be looking down this hole maybe to see if they can find TC on the other side. It's like you said, they need one at this point, sitting in 10th place, 120 points. They need to start racking up some points if they're trying to catch up to that first place team.
Yeah, it's quite a journey for them, even a raid on the space of where they are. They need kills, they need another raid after that, and another raid after that, and more kills, a defense, a raid. It's like a constant loop that they have to follow here. In the next 30 minutes, they've left themselves little time to do so. Maybe now teams will start to lose concentration. They'll start to get a bit more stupid. It's a long time to be playing the game, and when you play for too long, you end up lapsing concentration. Your focus goes. You start having a bit more fun. And sometimes that lets the money slip. Got to keep your eyes on the prize, ladies and gentlemen.
And you know, sometimes that's okay. I mean, money is nice, but obviously we talk about these events are super fun. A lot of people just come out here, play with their friends. So even if you could get a single raid success, even if you're just having some fun, even though if you aren't getting first, if you maybe got one raid, if you got some good PvP that you can at least walk away happy with. I mean, if you didn't win, that's okay.
Yeah, very good stuff. Quite exciting to see the players swarming around the inner core here. It's like a Tesla coil. It's the middle bar and the outside of the outside as well. Quite a few layers in this base, but
Pretty nice.
still nothing to be seen. No TC.
Yeah,
There's not much left.
No. Just the outside. It's pretty much a little bit of the inside core, and then all those outside advent calendar doors, and that's pretty much it. The build is really nice, but it's being rated by two different teams. We talk about that 10th place team. They're walking on in here. You also talk about, I believe you were talking about Lika was behind them. So, you know, a couple different teams just in here rocketing. A couple different teams are trying to put forward. And it looks like also it is going to be Durjal, who has also shown up in the area. So a couple of top teams that really could use this TC right now are in the area and trying to steal the work of the 10th place team that they put so much into.
Yeah, definitely. Wow. It's like a helter-skelter. It's quite crazy. Slides going all the way down these nice circular columns. And a defense has been put up there. That would suggest to me radars flying, TC nearby. Front door get taken down. It looks like a real battlefield actually. A lot of broken bones, a lot of dead bodies, quite a few nasty things happening inside there.
Hopping back over, it looks like we'll be swapping over to another base, which looks like it is taking some long-range rockets. This base is interesting, to say the least. It's got some chipped roof. It's got some advent calendar. It looks like they're just putting up some of that walls to protect from those rockets, excuse me. And as a reminder, you know, with those new rules, you have to upgrade that wall to sheet metal. Cannot just make it a twig wall. You can't just keep building those twig ones. You have to make sure it is sheet metal. Although it takes time for those to rebuild, you know, it is okay to at least have those to block a couple of rockets out of the way.
Yep, that is correct. I'm just waiting to see where the TC is going to be. And it's what I've been waiting to see for the whole event. As per everybody else in the chat, but some raids take longer than others, as we've seen a prime example of that. I've seen a prime example of someone who spent half an hour in a raid to get it stolen from them. But they are now sat in 4th place, so they're doing good for themselves at the moment. Az is still taking it away from them slightly. Az is now though on the back foot defending, which could work in their favour if they defend for a good amount of time. Could give them up to 40 points, which could push them into 2nd place. But it doesn't seem like they're doing too good at the moment. Half the base is crumbling apart.
Yeah, the base is crumbling. They're also, like you said, they're kind of panic rebuilding. They're kind of just popping up some of those walls. I don't know if that means that the TC is in the core, but it also could be that they're just trying to block rockets or just repair their base. I'm not 100% sure, albeit though they're trying to repair. They're trying to do things to save their base, and that's what they have to do. Again, we talked about it. It doesn't matter how many points you have. If your TC gets blown up or destroyed, you are done.
Yep, certainly. I think looking to find themselves a late raid. Not all over for them just yet. A raid does put them in a nice spot. Well, this is a very interesting one. Where could the TC There's not much left to say. The inner core seems to be where people are betting on, but I'm not too sure if that might be the case. There's a couple of doors left in the inner core, but
just a few.
None of them actually being taken advantage of just yet. The call out to the man with the bomb, which will waste a C4 in the end.
Not behind that door will be nothing for them. Again, wasted boom economy for them. Just check it on in, be sad, and report back to your team that there's nothing there. But like you said, a lot of this base already has been destroyed. So it's pretty much, I mean, that coil has been almost all fully searched. So I would have to think it has to be in one of these outer layers and one of these outer admin counter doors. But under this little ledge here, there are a couple doors around here, but not 100% sure. Like I said, there's not a lot left.
Yeah, 100%. There's it's crumbling, if you will, at the moment. Not much is going on. They are looking about though. I don't understand how these raids take so long. I would say it's not core at the moment because there's no sign of it being there, and it seems to be where people are targeting. There's not a lot. I don't think there's much at all there to even look for anymore. So I'd assume it's on the outer core if I was to make my guess. It's going to be interesting to see when the teams actually think about that and go for the outer core rather than the center, because that will be where most likely the DC is.
Well, yeah, the outer core still has a lot of its standings. It seems like there are two kind of holes inside the base, but like there's about half of the outer wall still standing. So that's a lot of doors still for someone to break through. It looks like you said, they've cleared completely through that core. It is not in that main core, but you know, like I said, if I had to take a guess, I, as well with you, would probably guess it's somewhere in that outer part, in that outer ring. And you know, they're repairing. They're trying to repair, get that outer wall back up, and protect from some rockets that were raining down from Lika and Durjal.
Yeah, it's quite crazy. It's like a battle zone in its own respect. From one side it looks fine, from another side it looks terrible. They are coming out with the repairs though, you gotta give them credit.
True.
But still no sign of a TC. Unfortunately for the attackers, defenders, they keep lighting, they can pull it off, points will fly up the board, and they'll be getting 40 points for a raid defense. Still not to be seen though. Interestingly though, Lika are still extending the lead on kill. Seems of it, they're only at 300 points. Good milestone to get, especially in 3-mans.
Yeah. It's a really good milestone to get. That's a really good amount of points to have. Like you said, just continuing to stay consistent, continuing to get themselves some kill points into this one. Like you said, this one looks like this base looks like it is pretty much going nowhere. I mean, none of these teams can find anything. The repairs have started to come through. I mean, you have to imagine that some points will be given for the defense of this base. And you can see how many teams are left just on that map. It has been absolutely smashed. And there's only 11 teams left. We started with 26 today, Ped.
Yep, it's the grand gesture of the game. I wouldn't be surprised if we fall down to maybe 5 or 6 towards the end. But interestingly, the lowest amount of teams left in the event that I've casted is 4 teams, and that was in the 7-mans event. So obviously you start with less teams than 7 mans, and you end with less teams apparently. It could be the case that that's the way it goes, or maybe you'll be shocked today with the top 10 slowly knocking down a number. We might get to the lowest amount of teams. I'm not too sure what the lowest amount of teams left at the end in Rustoria Base Invaders history is. I know the lowest for me has been 4 teams remaining at the end, which is actually a pretty good game to watch.
I think it was 4 for me as well. I can't remember, maybe 4 or 5, but it'd be interesting to see. You know, there's still a lot of time left here. I think as it gets closer towards the end, the panic raids are going to start to come through, possibly some lucky raids as well. But yeah, started with 31 teams, now down to 11 here in the event here today. 21 minutes is all these players have left, though, to get some points. Lika points has been the name of their game for all of their game here today. They're just trying to hold out. At this point, I mean, Ped, is the choice back up, maybe play the defense because you are so far ahead?
Maybe. It's certainly something that you need to consider. I mean, if I was Leaker, I'd just play full defense now. I just don't think in 20 minutes someone can catch up to 70 points. And Chip City's the team that's the closest. They've been quite slow in terms of their growth in the past 20, 30 minutes. They've not really extended their lead much. And it's the teams like Azaz who've jumped up there. Now, RNC pushed back to 6th place, by the way, after that race. They've clearly slowed down a lot as well. There's multiple reasons why that could be. Boom, as I mentioned very early before with them, could be just, you know, they're trying to raid, but it's just not working for them, which we've seen almost continuously in this event. Interesting, though. It's going to be an interesting end.
It will be.
As someone comes and actually takes the choice to raid them, but that would need to start around about now. They can't leave 10 minutes to raid the top team. It won't work. Chipsiki need to go after them now if they want to win.
You need to start raiding. You need to start raiding now. Like we talked about, that top team of Lika going to have a big target on their back. And I mean, you talked about it. The separation between Lika and everybody else is so massive right now that they do have a massive target on their back. And all these other teams, their thought process could be, we take out Lika, we are now the undisputed top team. I mean, you talk about Chipsiki especially. This team at 230 points. You take out Lika, suddenly you are the team that is 70 points above everybody. You are the team that is so far ahead, and now you have a target on your back. But you know, if you get that raid off good enough and you mount a good enough defense, it could possibly be the play. And you know, you have nothing else to lose, right? I mean, you have these 20 minutes. If you're not going to win and you're in the top 3, why not go for it? Why not go for these crazy plays that could possibly get you to win, rather than you just sitting on a defense that is just going to result in a lose?
Yeah, that's the show. I mean, it's a decision you've got to make. You might lose all, but you might win. You know, it's one of those decisions, all or nothing is the saying.
Yeah.
You never know if it's actually going to work in your favor. But here's Azaz and Po Beda having a fight out there, coming on the heli, which is just blown up. So there's no route out of the place now. They've got to go all in. All 3 members as well present for this one. It'll be interesting to see if they can actually pull it off. Otherwise, they might be losing their own base in the process. But they're definitely going to go out for it. They're definitely going to try and find the raid. And they're probably going to try and push. If they get this raid, it puts them in a very good position to carry on and go for Lika next, or even get kills or another raid or whatever. They've got 20 minutes to do it. So now is a good time to start for them, especially.
Yeah, and realistically, they probably have 10 minutes. I mean, they probably need 10 minutes or more to raid League base. So, you know, you need to get this one quick. You need to get it very fast. Your rockets and your C4 need to be well placed and well timed, because, like you said, they are putting all on the line. They have no care for their own base right now. They are all in on this raid, and they need it. They need this raid successful, and they're gonna need at least the Lika to fall for them to do anything.
Yeah, they're going big or going home, essentially.
Yeah.
You got to respect it. The all or nothing tactic. It's a good place to go, but 18 minutes. They've left it a bit late, in my opinion. Some people may differ in opinion, but you know, most raids take at least 10 minutes to pull off. Some of them happen earlier, but with the teams that you have left, they're all the strong teams, so none of the easier teams really remain. And it's going to be interesting to see who can take it. But this one seems to be going quite fast.
Yeah,
It just depends if they can carry it on and find the TC in a good amount of time. If they can find the TC by 50 minutes left to go, then we can actually talk about them possibly getting a win in this event.
Yep, that's the possibility. They need to clear it out quick, though. Like you said, they need to. I mean, all the boom you have, that's what you need to send right now. If you have enough boom economy, you have to just start blowing through everything to try and get towards that TC. Like you said, Lika, they're not going to stop either. That's the one thing that, like, you know, Lika, they're still getting points. They're still getting PvP points. They're still possibly getting defense points. So, you know, you have to take them out. I mean, that's a choice. You have to get this raid done very quickly and then take them out, because if you don't, I mean, you're going to be sitting in 3rd place.
Yeah, that's the truth. That's the unfortunate truth for certain people. They need to get it done as soon as possible. This is a very reinforced corner of the base, possibly suggesting where the TC is. Hint, hint. We don't know that, though. So it could just be, again, one of those mind games that people like to play. It's a good mind game to play as well, but you never know what will happen here. You just got to credit what they have. A lot of boom, a lot of courage, a lot of strength. Maybe it'll pay off in the end, but time is ticking by slowly. Oh, that door open was a very bad idea. He's just been able to take out 2 people and a bed. Secure himself some more loot, maybe a bit of boom on them as well. I wonder, it's definitely crossed my mind what could happen here, but they are not taking time. They're going through this base like a knife through butter, and it's going well at the moment.
Yeah, they are cleaning through it, cleaning out the players too. Like you said, an unfortunate door open catches both of those players off guard, and you're happy about that. Walking away with 2 kills and an access point to your base, another wall that you don't have to spend boom on, that you don't have to destroy. And they're going to continue these rockets up. Those players spawning down there also, could give you a hint to where this TC is. If you continue to blow up some stuff down here, you might be able to find it.
Yeah, there's a lot of doors though. A lot of doors, a lot of garage doors. Quite hard to find where it is, but you never know. Hopefully, for them, they can pull it off in the next 30 seconds to 3 minutes. Otherwise, I think it will be game over. They aren't having too much luck at the moment either.
Yeah. The luck is not on their side, and they need it. I mean, we've talked about it over and over and over again. Azers, though, sitting in third. I mean, if they don't get this TC, if they don't get Leak out, is pretty much all over for them. Leaka, once again, I mean, they're still getting points. They're still extending it on forward. Their lead's still at 70 points from any other team. And after that, it's still more drop-offs. Chip Siki is in a 20-point difference between them and Azers. So, it's a pretty large gap between them and some other teams. Under 15 minutes now. The time is going to run out. Something you can't go farm for more of. It's coming down right to the wire.
It's exciting. It is exciting. We see it so often in this game. Running down to the wire is an exciting thing. It's always, well, every week almost, we run down to the wire, every event. And that is true Rustoria Base Invaders fashion. You cannot complain about it. You can only jump with joy when the final comes, because it's very stressful for everybody.
Is very much is here, and Ika, they're still sitting first. 305, under 15 minutes, 14 minutes on the clock now. It will be Azers, Chip Siki, Urgel still in that top 5 here. Boom, still an opportunity too, but I mean, realistically, a couple teams would have to raid Lika for anybody out of the top 2 or top 3 to really have a chance at this point. Azers, they probably need to get 2 successful raids off. We talked about this, and oh, there it is. They found it.
Well, that's exciting. That's a good time to do it. 13 minutes now to go and shove it to Leaker. An underdog team as well, actually, Azers.
Yep. Team that has also gotten some kill points from that raid, so they're almost exactly 40 points behind Lika here. Gap is closing for Lika. They, it looks like, have been on the defense for most of this last 15 minutes. They've been racking up some kill points, but if they don't get raided, if they're just sitting stagnant and it is Azers, maybe to go for a different base, maybe they will target someone else and maybe just go for those 40 points. It really could be Lika in trouble here. Azers, though, they have kind of spiced up the competition here with these last 13 minutes. Once again, it's going to come down to the last second, and you better be pushing forward for some points. I know Azers are going to hop over to yet another raid. Looks like once again it is that it's circular center base.
Yeah, that is the thing. We don't actually know who. There's a lot of teams fighting for putting in the effort. It just depends on which team will be able to take it in the end. Leaker, though, the lead's just growing for them. Kills coming in left, right, and center. They're now on 307. Azers still quite a while behind. Even a raid now couldn't do it unless that raid's on. So it's going to be exciting for 12 minutes, but I think Azers need to go out for it here against Leaker. They need to go and raid, and Leaker are actually out to them to go and take a raid now against Leaker.
Yeah.
Any team to take a raid against Leaker, actually.
Yeah, a couple teams. Yeah, they need to take the raid on Lika, I think, is the choice at the moment. I mean, like you said, a couple other teams, they could also possibly take the raid because there are a couple teams that are still in it. Chip Siki, Durjal, boom, they have the opportunity. If Lika were to fall and they were the ones to take that raid out successfully, that would be really, really nice points towards them. That would mean, points and effort that they could put that would spice up the competition even more. As we approach 11 and a half minutes, time is starting to tick down for these players. Like you said, Lika, though, somewhat outside of their base here.
Yeah, that is the one. I don't know why they're going outside of their base. Very risky to do, especially at the last minutes of the game. But you can't complain. They need to keep going. They need to keep that continuity. Otherwise, what will end up happening is they'll end up getting beat with very little time on the clock. It's a very, very scary one. Only 11 minutes and Lika could be at a win. So close yet so far. You don't know where Azers are. We don't know where Lika base is and what's happening with that, but they're just going around picking off easy kills, it seems, just to put that point up and up and up, tally them up, all the kills. And it's working for them so far, but will it happen until the very end? Who actually knows?
No one. That's the fun part, is we're going to have to see who will finish it out. Like you said, so close, but yet so far, these final 10 minutes are going to feel like an eternity for them. And they're going to feel really fast for us. You know, it's going to be the opposite. For us, it's going to feel like it has been gone too soon, that the time is already gone for these teams. And talking about time, 10 minutes is all they're going to have Lika, like you said, out of their base at the moment. We'll see if anybody does try to target them. Right now, it is the team of Wa, who is the biggest target from all around the map. A couple different teams walking over. I also see Azers really close to this base, so they could be trying to push on forward towards it.
Yep. That is the unreal truth. It's too hard to tell. Too hard to tell at the moment. You don't actually... You can't call it until it happens, sort of, right? Because you can't discredit Lika, but at the same time, you can't discredit Azers. But Azers are definitely going for it on a different base this time. They're not going for Lika, they're going for someone else. It'll put them to 299, and they've got to get 20 kill points. Theoretically, it's possible, but they need a raid very, very quickly. If they pull it off, then it's probably one of the best secures in base Invaders history. You know, the amount, where they came from, they were like 10th, jumped up to like 3rd, and now they're sat in 2nd, trying to push on to Lika. It would be a very, very incredible success story for them.
It would be. It would be a nice way to end off their day, and hopefully they can, because, you know, they need to get, again, they probably need to get a raid and a half almost at this point. You said, like they said, about 55 points behind now that top team of Lika. They're going to send some C4 in. Maybe they know something we don't. They're raiding through the core, which I think had been mostly cleared already. Sending some C4 through the outer walls, though, getting some shots on towards the WA team. It was not going to go down without a fight. This WA team wants to still fight till the end of their days. They want to stay alive here, just trying to defend their base with some nice peek shots, but those C4s, once again, they're going to result into nothing. We already saw that whole pretty much core cleared on out.
That's the way it goes usually. We have a lot of shots coming in. Azers are getting taken out now. Not a great sign for them. So this is a nice base as well. This is the one with the very, very smooth top. No longer smooth, half of it's missing. Probably very sharp now. But here we go. They're trying to go from underneath. We see it often, but do they have enough boom? Do they have enough time? Is the question here. But Dajjal are going to go for it. Only one person though. You see the root of base properly. But
there we go. Joker's in.
Going underground.
Yeah, they're going for the foundation here, and you know, at this point, I think this is just a meme raid from Tershal. They don't necessarily have a chance to get back in unless they got a couple of raids back to back to back. So I think they're just doing it for the memes. They're gonna foundation wipe, take all of the boom they can, and possibly this could have major consequences. I mean, if you talk about Tershal, if they get a foundation wipe, if they destroy that TC from this, it doesn't go to Azers. They don't get the points, and they're stuck in 2nd place, still behind Lika.
Yeah, that is the one. Mango at the top, looking to shoot down on all the enemies. Dajjal actually are the ones leading this attack at the moment. It's 2 players. They're still going for the underground tactic. They've taken out pillars. They've got a better insight of the interior of the base. It now limits the options, but here we go. Taken out. He flew there as well with the kill. It's 7 minutes remaining. It's a very, very stressful end. But Lika still leading nice and strong. It just depends if they can keep it going for the next 6 minutes and 53 seconds.
Yep, and you talk about keeping it going. This is Lika's base, and it is taking some rockets. It looks like 3 different teams are here to mount this raid all around, coming from all different directions, and that is really bad for Lika. I know you talked about earlier when defenders, when attackers, excuse me, come from different directions or the same direction, they just run into each other. They fight each other. But when they're from 3 different directions, that means they are solely focusing on the base, solely rocketing it. And Lika, you got to defend here for 6.5 minutes, the most stressful 6.5 minutes of this day.
They've done it so far so well. But can they hold it until the very end? That is the question that we're asking inside. Can they hold it off until the very, very end of this event? They definitely... Is this Lika's base? They're under fire. They're under fire.
Definitely are. Rockets flying in from two different directions at the moment, kind of breaking into that outer wall here. Liga just doing what they can, sending actually rockets back, maybe trying to rocket those half raid bases, those beds, get them destroyed, get those respawn points destroyed. But look at this, there's some rockets just raining down in towards the mid area here. As we approach 5 minutes left, Liga trying to hold on. Now the important thing is, I mean, if someone like Boom gets this base here, that would be Azer's win. I mean, if Liga gets eliminated here and Azer's still sitting in second without that other team jumping above them, they get the win. They would get the win. So this is pretty huge for which team takes it. Chipsiki really wants to be the team themselves because, again, if they take out Lika, the situation for them is a win condition. They take this base, they would jump ahead of Azers with 280, and they would get the win. But it's going to be stressful. 5 minutes left. I mean, it's down to the wire once again, Ped.
They are getting ripped apart. I think it's the right word to use here. They are definitely getting ripped apart.
Yeah.
It just depends on how far they can take it, really. It's an interesting one so far. It's so hard to call. It's so hard to call, man. It's just... It's impossible nearly to call.
Yeah, and you feel for both sides. I mean, you feel for this Lika team that has done so well all game long, and now all they have to do is defend. One of the hardest things to do, though, against 3 different squads who are raiding you. Also feel for these other teams, Azers and Chipsiki, who have been consistent in getting points just a little bit short, that they are looking for that Cinderella story. They are looking for the clock to not hit midnight and for them to secure this base and secure the win. And you feel for both of them, and it's going to come down to these final 4 minutes. Can Lika defend, or will they be overrun?
Yep. It is the question that is everyone's asking in their minds at the moment. It's starting to worry me for Lika at the moment. Their base, there's not a lot. Every team has jumped on the raid as well. It's not just one.
Yep.
3 or 4 teams taking this raid, which is exciting. It's scary for them, but it's exciting for the viewers especially. Will they hold it off with whatever base they have left at the end of this 3-minute and 29-second period? Can they hold it off? Or will it just go completely? It's so hard to call, but it seems like the base is starting to tear apart one piece at a time. There's not really much defense efforts going on at the moment. They're all dying, their boom's going, the kits are going, they haven't got enough guns to fire, the beds are getting removed from the base, they can't respawn on the base, they can't patch. It's not looking good. It is not looking good.
Yeah, it is not looking good, but they only, a reminder, it's 3 minutes. 3 minutes of the best defense of your Rust career will decide if you win or lose right here. Also, importantly, we're seeing Savinka also around. Savinka putting in some work into this base. We haven't really seen Savinka. They haven't really been super active in the past maybe 30 minutes, but you know, if Savinka, if anybody other than Chipsiki gets this base, then it is Azers that will win. So Chipsiki, they need to be the ones that finish this one off. It is going to be the side of Lika, though. They need to defend. 2.5 minutes. We'll hop on over to another raid that has been seeming to have been going on for about 30 minutes now. It is that Tesla coil, and it is Durjal just trying to do some more damage to it, trying to maybe find that last little foundation in there, but it seems like they can't find it.
Yeah, it might be end game for them. Lika was eliminated. What?
Oh,
Goodbye.
hold on.
What?
Hold on a second.
What's just happened?
We got some spicy action. That's what
No
happened.
one raided them.
Yeah, it had to be an admin removal. It had to be possibly. The only thing I would say is maybe closing off the TC.
Possibly.
Because if for people that don't know, you have to have an entrance towards that TC, whether that be a window, a door, whatever it has. If you fully close that off, it's not accessible. And that means that your base is done, no matter what. So we'll have to get confirmation on that one. But as of right now, no one gets those points. No one gets that raid. Azers right now sitting in first, 1 minute and 15 seconds. Pen, we knew it would go right down to the line, but crazy action right up until the end.
Yeah, wow. That is probably one of the most tragic endings for Lika ever. All was going so well until something went wrong for them. Some rule was broken. It's a shame, but they've got to live with it. And now it's going to be between Chipsiki and Azaz. It's very close. 26 points between them. One raid could do it. 40 seconds remaining. Boom's going off in these final seconds. No one needs to hold on to any anymore. Finally getting towards the end in here. And is that only 7 teams remaining? Or no, 8 teams?
Yeah.
Possibly. Yeah. Wow. Brilliant.
Yeah,
That
so
is
Lika
absolutely
out.
brilliant.
Yeah, Azers, they did enough. It looks like 20 seconds left, unless there's defense points coming through. It looks like they have done enough. Those end bases that they got were there. Chipsiki will fall just a little bit short. Azers, what a day for them, though. 10 seconds left. Some final sounds of gunfire, and Boom will go through. 5 seconds here now. The countdown will start, and Azers, I believe, they can start celebrating as the first place should be theirs. The event now ending. We'll take a look at our stats, and there it is. Azers, they're going to take on your first place. Ped, what a crazy performance by them to just stick it through and get that win at the end of it.
Well, I said if they manage to do this, it's going to be one of the best comebacks ever in Rustoria based Invaders, and they managed to do it
They did.
by whatever means happened. But wow, they came from 8th to 3rd to 2nd, and then got to 1st. You've got to give them the credit, man. That's probably one of the best performances we've ever seen. 4 raids, 2 defenses, 84 kills, 82 deaths, going slightly positive there. All 3 players contributing to that effort. Xe was the one of the top kills. Very, very good performance from Azers.
Yeah, it's a really good performance. And you mentioned it that those kills weren't necessarily the biggest chunk of their points. 4 successful raids completed. One of those coming at the end of the event within the final 15 minutes. Also, 2 raid defenses. Absolutely brilliant from this team. And like you said, a massive, massive comeback for them and locking that first spot. I mean, you got to be happy about that if you are the Azers team.
Most definitely. But now moving on to Chipsiki in 2nd place. Very good performance from them as well.
Yep.
But you know, again, it was a close battle. You see there
close.
only 14 points between them two, Lama.
Yeah. Only 14 points between them, a really, really close matchup. Obviously, they'll take home 2nd place. So again, nothing to be sad about. No first place finish, but at least they'll get right there. They'll be really close, and hopefully we can see them come back. Obviously, this team had some very experienced members, maybe like you said, split up from some other teams. And talking about experienced members, Durjal, 3rd place for them, although they are a little bit behind Chipsiki. They'll be locking in 3rd. They had a pretty consistent performance all throughout the day. Slowed down a little bit towards the end, but still 3rd place, nothing to be sad at.
Yeah, we'll go through the top 5. We've got Svar in a little bit further behind, but again, right in the action. They got one of the raids stolen off RNC, which could have been a determining fact. They could have put them ahead, could have put them into 3rd place, but no, unfortunately, not the day for them. But they still survived, still got the top 4. You cannot complain at that whatsoever.
Can't complain. Boom, gonna lock in our 5th place spot, our 5th and final of that top 5. 201 points for them. Really, really close to Finca and locking themselves to a nice little, getting them over that 200-point marker. Not to be sad at any point. RNC though, I'd like to talk about them for a little bit. I mean, I know you talked about them. They're gonna end up in 7th. I mean, unfortunate. They were at the top at the end of the attack leaderboard. They were at what, 70 some points, and then like you said, they got a couple raids stolen from them. They slowed down a little bit, and although they survived to the end, that's a nice thing out of 31 teams to survive to down to just 9. Like you said, they slowed down just a little bit too much, got too many raids stolen, and didn't work out for them.
Yeah, wow, what a day. SDA ADS in 8th and WAR finishing 9th. Only 9 teams.
Yeah.
Start. What a performance. What a day. One another game for Rustoria Base Invaders in the EU. 3v3s. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. As were your winners. But of course, again, we have to say it. The NA event will be happening very, very shortly. Of hours' time. If you want more action like this, just go and find it there.
Make sure to hit that follow on obviously the Rustoria servers Twitch channel. Obviously, there are some highlights that are uploaded to the YouTube channel if you're interested in watching those as well. But yeah, NA, we talked about it, could have those hard points. We might see them, might not. Will depend if those are working. They are obviously in beta for anybody that is wondering. Again, those are points that you get over time, so we'll add a little bit of another layer to the onion that is Base Invaders and another possible way to win. So it'll be exciting. You will not want to miss it. Ped, any final words before we end this one off?
Just like to say thank you for everybody providing today. Thank you for the staff for putting it on. Thank you for Rustoria for the opportunity. Thank you, Llama, for being in here with me and Gigi in the background doing the observing work and the streaming. And thank you to you viewers as well for being amazing throughout the entire show today. Make sure you come back for the event later on tonight to see better action, more action like this again. We thank you all for watching, and we will see you again soon.
See you.